Честь покутута Криста Кренко. Jak Oscar.
Yes, I bet you have.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about
Who shot first?
Yeah, I shot you first, you green son of a...
Hello and welcome to Who Shot First, the first ever episode of the first ever Star Wars game show trivia podcast. I'm your host, Star Wars collector, fan, and comedian Dylan Hesp, and it is so exciting to have you here with our first ever episode. Now, if you're trying to understand the concept of the show, if you can imagine like your classic like pub quiz and then mix it together with a little bit of Star Wars Trivial Pursuit, then you're kind of getting the hang of it. Now, you're in for a fantastic episode because we have two special Star Wars guests joining us for 4 fun, crazy rounds of Star Wars trivia. But not only that, you also have the opportunity to play along. We'd love to hear from you on Twitter at WhoShotFirst to find out how you went in today's episode. Not only that, but for our Twitter followers, we have a special prize giveaway in our episode today. We are giving away one free copy, yes, free, of DK's Ultimate Star Wars, a fantastic book by Trisha Barr, Adam Bray, Dan Wallace, and Ryder Wyndham. But anyway, enough of that, let's get into the show. It's time to see who shot first. Let's meet our first guest. He's a super collector. He's written for Star Wars Insider and many other fantastic books alongside Duncan Jenkins. It's a pretty good clue there. He's been behind the collecting tracks at Celebration for pretty much more years than I've been alive and has been featured in countless TV, web and print interviews. He's the guy with a big round ball of death and destruction in his house, and we're not talking about his wife. It's Gus Lopez. How are you, Gus?
Good, Dylan. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. I have to ask, Gus, to be honest, I'm a little bit blown away that you're on the podcast because as a collector myself, I'm a big fan. But I have to ask, with the new film, The Force Awakens, coming out, what are you most excited to see collectible-wise?
Well, it's hard to say. I haven't really thought about that much about the new stuff coming out for the film because we know so little about the film. So I guess you got like I suppose new lightsaber toys that come out for it. I certainly, as usual, cast and crew items and cereal boxes. Excited for those already. Some of that's starting to trickle out.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I was going to say with the lightsabers, I was talking to a friend the other day, because we've got the whole crossguard lightsaber now. It'd be really interesting to start seeing that as, toys and stuff coming out. Or even just the idea of how you, with those toys you flick the blade out. Like, how do you do that when it's got the little things on the side?
I know, yeah.
Should be really fun. Well, fantastic. Thanks for being on the show, Gus. Pleasure to have you on. Now, our second guest is a fantastic figure in Star Wars fandom. You'll recognize him as the co-owner and daily content manager of JediNews.com. And if you're older than me, the creator of Lightsaber.co. He's contributed to Star Wars Insider and StarWars.com. And if that's not enough, he's also the co-host of Rebel Force Radio's Radio 1138. He's reported at Star Wars celebrations for over a decade, and this year was that guy in the corner of the live stream. It's the one and only Mark Newbold. How are you, Mark?
How you doing? I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks for being here. How's things for you? Good?
Good, really good, very good. Better for that wonderful introduction. I feel like a superstar now. I like that.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. What we can do is I'll give you the recording, and it can be your ringtone if you like.
Perfect. Yep, definitely, yeah.
But I have to ask, Mark, being a UK man, what are you most excited about with Celebration hitting London next year?
Well, the first celebration back in 2007, the first European celebration, was a bit of a watermark for a lot of UK fandom. It was a massive thing for it to come to the UK, and it made a lot of friends, a lot of contacts, and it was a turning point for Jedi News because they'd only just launched. I was still doing lightsaber back then, but it was just a huge chance for all the guys in the UK. Lots of guys from the States, a heck of a lot of people from Europe came over. So to be able to try and recreate that. Not that you can, it will be something completely individual and different because of, Force Awakens will be out, Rogue One's on the way, F8's on the way, it's going to be a huge convention. But yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic.
Fantastic. What about you, Gus? Will you be making it to Celebration London next year?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've never missed a celebration and not going to miss this one.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'm actually personally very excited. It'll be my first celebration yet, so I'm very excited to go. So unfortunately, we haven't still got to the point where we get a Celebration Australia, but maybe that'll happen sometime soon. But anyway, let's, gentlemen, if you're ready, let's get started. Let's get ready to play Who Shot First with round one. Now, in round one, our contestants will each get to pick one category of questions to tackle and must buzz in to answer. Now, Gus, you'll be representing Team Greedo today. Did you want to just quickly check your buzzer for us there, Gus?
Greedo.
Fantastic. And Mark, you'll be representing Team Team Solo.
Solo.
All right, fantastic. So if either of our contestants buzz in with that word, we know that they get to answer the question first. Now, if you get the question wrong, I will hand over to the other contestant to have a bit of a crack. Now, Mark, you have the first choice of the following 4 categories of questions. Let's see what you want to play first in round one. So we have Thank the Maker, the making of Star Wars questions, Scruffy Nerf Herders, Who Am I creature questions, the Schwartz, Star Wars parody questions, and Galaxy Far, Far Away, which is questions about, on this episode, the planet Coruscant. What would you like to play, Mark?
Oh, that's a good bunch of questions. I will go with which creature? Yeah, the Who Am I creature.
Cool. All right, so let's play Scruffy Nerf Herders. I was going to say hand on your buzzers, but considering you are your buzzer, sounds a little bit dodgy. So let's get started. Question number 1. What annoying creatures board your vessel, the Ebon Hawk, in the video game Knights of the Old Republic? So the video game Knights of the Old Republic. What annoying creatures board your vessel, the Ebon Hawk? Any ideas, gentlemen? Are you video game men yourselves?
No.
That's okay. That's right. Let's move on. Question number 2. Now, with an average mass of 1,675 kilograms, this creature is native to Tatooine and favoured by Jawas.
Solo.
Mark, for Team Solo.
Is it Banthas?
Close. Very close. I'm going to hand over to Gus. Gus, do you have an idea what it might be?
I'll say Dewback.
Close again. I'll hand back over to you, Mark. Any other ideas?
Ronto.
Yes, well done. There we go.
Ooh, process of elimination.
Absolutely. You can always remember them. They're the special edition creatures seen in A New Hope. Question number 3. In the Clone Wars, Narglatchers are ridden by the Tals on what icy snow planet?
This is going to be comical.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm going to say Solo. I'm going to take a guess.
Okay, Mark.
I'm thinking Star Wars icy planet that's not Hoth Renvar.
Oh, so close. Gus, do you have an idea?
I don't.
No, that's right. Now, interesting enough, this one is Auto Plutonia, and it's actually the home planet of George Lucas's character in Revenge of the Sith, of all things.
Oh, wow.
But let's keep moving. Question number 4. What creature can be seen in the asteroid field in Attack of the Clones? I'll give you a clue. It's an Easter egg put in there by the ILM team. What creature, I'll give you a clue, the creature is seen itself at another point in Attack of the Clones. What creature can be seen in the asteroid field above Geonosis in Attack of the Clones?
Solo.
Mark.
Is it a Thranta?
Close. Very close. What about you, Gus? Do you have any idea?
I don't know that one.
The correct answer is a shark, but not like a shark.
Yeah,
a shark. Anyway, so final question for Scruffy Nerf Herders. Question number 5. What is the real name of the space slug that the Millennium Falcon enters in The Empire Strikes Back?
Oh.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Oh, this is killing me.
It's funny, whenever I read that question, I always think, like, what's his real name? Maybe it's Steve or something.
Yeah, I was thinking Gloria. But...
Yeah, absolutely. Any ideas, gentlemen? Gus, Mark, any ideas?
I've only ever known it as a space slug, so I don't know.
No, that's fine. The answer was actually Exogath, which is its scientific name, which is interesting considering its not a real creature. But anyway, fantastic. Well done. Now, Gus, it is your turn to choose now out of the 4 following categories.
Yep.
So just to go through them again, we have Thank the Maker, the making of Star Wars questions, the Schwartz Star Wars parody questions, or Galaxy Far, Far Away questions about Coruscant.
Let's go with Thank the Maker.
Thank the Maker, fantastic. All right, gentlemen, hands on your buzzers. Here we go. 5 questions about the making of Star Wars. Question number 1. The Ewoks speak what 2 real-life languages?
Solo. Is it Ethiopian and Nepalese?
Now, you've got one of them correct with Nepalese, so I'm going to give you 1 point for that, but I'm going to hand over to Gus. Gus, do you have any idea for an extra point what the other real-life languages that Ewoks speak is?
I'll take a guess, but yeah, I don't know offhand. I would say Thai.
So close. It was actually Tibetan. Now, I have to admit, I didn't realize that Tibetan and Nepalese were different languages, but they are a combination
Same region,
of the two. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2. In The Empire Strikes Back, how many toes does Yoda have?
Greedo. 3. On each foot.
You are so close. Unfortunately, Yoda's toes change every movie. I'll give you another guess.
Okay, I'll say 4.
Correct. There you go, Gus. Well done. Chris, it's bizarre that his feet, changed.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, like mini
Muppet
evolution. Yeah, exactly. Question number 3. An elephant call mixed with the sounds of a car driving on wet pavement make up the sound effect for which fighter craft? Mark.
TIE Fighter.
Correct. Well done, Mark. Question number 4. Moving on. What 3 skiff guard names came from the novel
Greedo.
Army?
Solo.
Oh, Gus, you got in there just quick enough. Gus.
Okay, Klaatu Barada Nikto.
Well done. So that's 3 points. So just to finish that question, that's actually from the novel Army of Darkness, and those 3 skiff guard names came from those, which is fantastic. So then question number 5, final question for this round 1. Who portrayed, now I never know how to say it properly, Ki-Adi-Mundi in the prequel trilogy?
Solo.
Greedo.
Mark.
Was it Silas Carson?
It was Silas Carson. Well done. That brings our scores up. So at the end of round 1, our scores are Gus for Team Greedo with 4 points and Mark for Team Solo with 4 points. Well done, gentlemen. You're doing a fantastic job. Now, Gus, I did joke at the start of the show about the fact that you have a giant super weapon in your house.
Yes.
But that is actually true, isn't it?
Yes, this is the Death Star from A New Hope. So the 3D model they made for the film is in our home.
Can I say that is amazing? Now, when I was talking to friends about this show, like friends that don't really, understand Star Wars as much,
yeah,
I told them that one of my guests has the Death Star in his house, and they could not comprehend it. They thought that was amazing. But I have to ask, how did you end up with the Death Star?
Yeah, it's a long story. It ended up with some collectors who had effectively saved it from being thrown out. But it ended up moving around. Like, people kept it as a novelty, not really realizing or appreciating what it was. And these collectors in Missouri, in the middle of the U.S., had saved it. And I knew these guys for a few years, and I said, if you ever decide to sell it, let me know. And then 16 years ago, they decided that they wanted to sell it, and I was out there in an instant and said, let's go do a deal, and they were very nice about doing a deal. I still stay in touch with them and see them once in a while, but it was great. It was and I wasn't even buying that kind of thing at the time. It was just kind of, I thought, wow, I want to own like a big piece from Star Wars, and in hindsight, it's like, it's been a tough act to follow. There's like nothing else that's in the same league.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'll have to get a Death Star 2 next. Is that?
I don't think that's leaving Lucasfilm, but yeah.
Never mind.
Would be cool.
Somehow I don't think they'll get rid of it. But
no.
I think that's so cool. I just love the idea that when people come over for dinner, do you ever have workmates come over for dinner and you're like, yeah, here's the bathroom, here's the Death Star.
Yeah.
They're like blown away by it.
It's tons of comments, from everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
we
that's-
have an electrician come in, they're like, is that the Death Star? Everybody notices it. You see it.
That's amazing. So how big is it as well
It's
in
about,
your house?
Yeah, it's about 1 meter in diameter. So
Wow.
it's huge. And fortunately, there's a spot for it on the foyer that right when you walk into the house, you can't miss it. But it's humongous as a special effects model goes. It's one of the biggest ones they made.
Now, you have quite an extensive collection of original props from the film, Gus, and I know that you've actually been to some of the filming locations.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what was your favourite spot to visit? Because you've been to quite a few of the different places, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been to all the filming locations. So in Guatemala, Norway, Italy, Tunisia, the United States, England. So all the places. And I would say Tunisia is my favorite. Just the Tatooine setting there is, it's just, you don't even have to add anything to make you feel like you're in the planet Tatooine. So I love going to that location. Unfortunately, it's not very safe to travel there right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, because now it's controlled by ISIS, isn't it?
Yeah, or there's some activity, that kind of activity there, and I mean, I went there. I've gone there 4 times, but I love that location. Hopefully, in a few years, it'll get back to being a safe tourist destination.
Yeah.
But that one's amazing. The one in Finse, Norway for Hoth is pretty awesome, although that's a difficult location. But yeah, I love hitting the locations. I do collect a lot of props. I've found some props and set dressing on my trips to these locations, but I've also bought a lot of props out, from people who worked on the films and from auctions and so on.
Well, that's so cool. Hey guys, we're going to continue with round 2 now. Mark, Gus, are you guys ready for round 2?
Ready to go?
Ready as I'll ever be.
I think it works better as an instrumental anyway.
In round 2, Gus and Mark, you will each be given a Star Wars musical score mashup, which includes 6 different cues from the Star Wars films, TV shows, or video games. Now, you'll be awarded 1 correct point for every music cue you can place, and an extra point if you can name the original source content it comes from. Okay? Now, be ready to listen because they're going to come at you quite quickly. Now, Gus, you're going to be up first. Here is your Figure and Dance Jam, 6 songs in a quick mashup. Let's see how you go. All right, there we go. I'm going to hand over to you, Gus. Can you name any of those 6 music scores?
Okay, let's see. So the first one, I can't name it, but I think from Attack of the Clones.
Yep, you're very close.
Okay. The next one...
Not from Attack of the Clones,
Okay,
but continue.
all right. Cantina Band from New Hope.
Correct. 2 points there.
Yeah, and then let's see. The next one is from Return of the Jedi.
Correct.
And I don't remember exactly. I don't know if it's like Approaching the Death Star or something like that. I don't remember the name of the title.
Yeah.
The track.
So the track is actually called The Emperor's Throne Room. So when Luke and Vader and Sheevy Boy are hanging out, that's that one.
Next one is Duel of the Fates.
Yep, correct.
Phantom Menace.
Yep.
And yeah, I didn't listen carefully enough on the last one, but I would say I will guess it's Empire Strikes Back.
That's right. In there was the heroics of Luke and Han.
Okay.
Which is one of the scores from Hoth.
Okay.
From The Empire Strikes Back. So you get 1 point for that one. And then our final one was actually Bounty Hunter's Pursuit from Attack of the Clones.
Okay, got it.
And that first one that you almost got, that's General Grievous from Revenge of the Sith.
Got it.
But well done, Gus. You've managed to score 6 points there, so well done.
All right.
Fantastic. All right, Mark, are you ready for your Figure and Dance jams?
I think so. Crossed.
You know, be more confident, Mark. You're going to do great. Here we go. There we go. That is all of them. Do you have any ideas what they might be?
Okay, I'm going to have a crack. I think the first one is from Star Wars: The Old Republic.
You are close. It's actually from a TV show, the latest one, but good guess. Do you want to keep cracking with number 2?
I'll keep going. And number 2, I think, is from Revenge of the Sith: Battle of the Heroes.
Well done. 2 points there.
Return of the Jedi. I think it's Han Solo returns to the Court of Jabba the Hutt.
You're so close. It's actually the droids are captured, but it's minutes apart in the film. So well done.
Imperial March from Episode 5.
Yep.
Empire.
Well done.
This one's Episode 1, and I can't place. I think it's a Tatooine piece, but I can't remember. Desert Winds, maybe? No, that's
no. Very close. Very close. It was actually Passage Through the Planet Core, but you're so close there. You get 1 point for the Phantom Menace.
And Return of the Jedi for the last one. Is it March of the Ewoks or Parade of the Ewoks?
Yes. Well done. It is Parade of the Ewoks. Fantastic. Yeah. Well done, gentlemen. Now, at the end of round 2, our scores are: we have Gus on 10 points. Well done, Gus. And Mark on 12. So it is very, very close. Now, Mark, you've been involved with Jedi News since 2010, correct?
Yeah, my old site Lightsaber, which I was running from about 99. And I've done other Star Wars sites and sci-fi sites before, but Jedi News and Lightsaber merged in 2010, yeah.
Tell me, how did you first get into, I guess, what you might call online Star Wars journalism and writing?
I started online in about 95. I've done some sort of tiny little fanzine things here in the UK that about 3 people would have read. And a friend of mine who was far more savvy with computers than me. I'm still a complete numpty when it comes to computers. Content is my thing, nothing else. We did a website together, and the first couple of websites were little Star Trek websites because that was the big thing at the time. Star Wars was still building back up towards the special editions. But around about 95, 96, started to bring in mixed content. 98 was the first Star Wars site. So it just kind of built from there. And I did and still do a lot of fan fiction, setting our own little part of the galaxy. And so the early sites were predominantly that. It was getting our fiction out there and all the characters and sort of situations and artwork and all that stuff, role-play related stuff, because we did a lot of the RPG stuff. Then as time went on, especially as between episodes 2 and 3, it really built up into more of a news site, which it was until 2009. And then, as I say, joined with Jedi News in 2010. And I think it's benefited Jedi News because what I did and still do as Lightsaber is very different to what James was doing, collecting, which was mainly their thing on Jedi News then. So it made it more of a general news site. So yeah, it keeps me busy.
Fantastic. I have to ask, so because you guys have been doing it for a while, both you and James, and I kind of look at online now, and do you mean like there's so many different Star Wars fan sites, so many different bloggers and things like that. How have you noticed the online landscape has changed in regards to Star Wars in, say, the last 10 or so years?
That's a really good question. I would say go back to before episode 1. There was a lot of websites, an awful lot of fan sites, lots of Star Wars fan sites. Podcasting really wasn't a thing then to any degree. But I think after episode 1 came out, obviously everybody knows there was in certain areas dissatisfaction with the film, so a lot of the websites fell away and only so many stuck it out. But it's built and built. But now you get to sort of 2015, loads of podcasts. And lots of blog sites. There aren't really that many websites, I don't think. They're mainly blog sites.
Yeah.
So, and I think of us as a website. So it, to a certain degree, we're not a dying breed, but I'd like to think we're more unique than a dying breed. But it's definitely changed, and I think it's good. It's lots of new voices coming into the fandom, which is always healthy for the longevity of any fandom. It's what kind of killed Trek fandom off to a certain degree, is that the studio kind of shot them off at the knees, cut them off at the knees, but
yeah,
this film encourages it, and people are coming in. I think it's good. It's very healthy, especially heading towards Force Awakens.
We're going to keep going, gentlemen, with round 3, What a Piece of Junk.
What a piece of junk!
Gus and Mark will each be given a list of 5 different Star Wars collectibles found on eBay. Now, their job is to put them in order from least to most expensive in US dollars. I could have done it in Australian dollars, but I figured I would have flipped you both out, and that just wouldn't have been fair. So Gus and Mark, what we're going to do, rather than a buzzing round, you'll each get your turn to try and place these items from least to most expensive. Are you ready to play, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, you are first. Here are your 5 items. Number 1, an ever-ready The Force Beam lightsaber torch with a slightly split blade. Okay, that's a bit of a bootleg product, but they're very popular when Star Wars first came out. A 1980 Empire Strikes Back Millennium Falcon pilot pin in box. All right. Item number 3, a Return of the Jedi Scout Walker Command swing set. And number 4, a vintage Size Noodles corkboard. And the final one, a factory sealed Empire Strikes Back 12-inch Boba Fett. Would you like to hear those again?
No, I've got those.
Oh, you've got those?
I wish I had them. I meant I've got them written down. I wish I did own them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you want them in order, the least valuable first?
Yeah, absolutely. From least to most expensive. You get a correct point for everyone you get in the right order, okay?
Okay, I'm going to go for the least expensive would be the Falcon pin.
Well done, you've got that correct. There's 1 point.
Next would be the either the corkboard or the Force Beam. I'll say the corkboard.
Well done, you've done it again. There's your second one correct.
The Force Beam is the third.
Yep, correct again.
Yep. So what's the most expensive? The swing set or the Fett?
Yeah.
I'll say, that's tricky.
Yeah.
Factory sealed Empire 12-inch Fett.
That is correct. Well done.
Yeah.
And then it only leaves one option for number 5.
Which is the swing set at number 1, yeah.
The swing set. Now, I don't know, have you guys ever seen one of these swing sets before?
That look like little speeder bikes.
Yeah, have you seen one of these before, Gus?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Have you actually seen one in the like in person or?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've seen them in the box. And the huge box they come in, and then I think it's 2 boxes actually. I don't have to remember, but yeah, and then I've seen them set up. So, and then at Duncan's place, actually, a bunch of us set up his swing set. So he opened up his swing set to set it up inside his place.
That is fantastic. That is so cool. Imagine explaining that to a bunch of people that aren't. Do you know? Because some people don't get Star Wars collecting. Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, what did you do on the weekend? Oh, we built a swing set with 3 of my mates.
Yeah. So yeah, that could be misconstrued. That really could be misconstrued.
Yeah, absolutely.
Swing set, yeah.
Yeah. All right. With that, let's move on. Gus, it is your turn now. Now, okay. I'm very excited to see how you go as a collecting mastermind. So I've selected 5 items for you. Let's see how you go. Are you ready to play What a Piece of Junk?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, here we go. Your first item is a used 1977 Luke Skywalker action figure with double telescoping lightsaber.
Okay.
The second is a vintage Star Wars Pow Toy Ugnaught card back. So for those that don't know what that means, it's the card on the back of the action figure.
Okay.
A used 1983 Darth Vader speakerphone and a new in-box Lego Star Wars Ultimate Collector's Edition Star Destroyer. And the final one, now this is my personal favourite out of the 10 items, Shiny as a Droid, Things to See, Touch and Smell from a Galaxy Far, Far Away. It's a children's book from 1986.
Okay, let's see here. All right, let me think through this. All right.
Now, while you're thinking, Gus, Mark, Radio 1138, how did you get involved with Rebel Force Radio and doing this fantastic podcast?
Oh, there's a long story to that, which gives Gus a chance to work his answers out.
Yeah.
I did a podcast for Lightsaber about 10 years ago called Setting in Radio. Setting is the name of our little region of the galaxy we did all our stories in, and so that gave me a flavour for sort of talking on podcasts and so on and so forth. Back when Jimmy and Jason were still doing the Forcecast, back in about 2011, there was the discussion that we would do a UK podcast on that network, but it never quite came about. So when they moved across to do Rebel Force Radio and obviously wanted to sort of do a bit of a brand extension, if you like, by bringing other shows in, the idea came around again, and James already started doing his collector's cast, which he used to do with Dan Curto. Now he does it on his own with rotating guests each month. We started it about 2 years ago, and it's just sort of evolved. It's always like I say, it's like collections, isn't it? It's always a work in progress. We're always trying to tweak it, make it a bit better. It seems to be going okay. I think people like it, so I'll just ramble on. James drives. I'm a wrestling fan. He's the play-by-play. I'm the colour, so I just talk. So it seems to be working. So.
Oh, I think it's a great show, and for any listeners, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. Now, Gus, coming back to you.
Ready to go? Yeah.
All right,
okay,
let's do it.
This is tough, but I would go I would say so. You're starting from the least expensive, right?
Yeah.
So I would go I would start with probably the Shiny as a Droid as the least expensive, the 86 book.
You are close.
Okay.
I'm afraid that one's not number one.
Okay.
Have another
so
crack?
If I get another crack, then I would go probably the Ugnaught card back.
Well done. I'll give you that one.
Okay. So
Fantastic.
If Ugnaught card back's the least expensive, then I would say Shiny as a Droid would be the next one.
Correct. That's right.
And then I would say the speakerphone.
Absolutely correct. Well done.
Okay. And then I would say the Lego Ultimate Star Destroyer set.
You are so close.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Oh, really?
it was
So
actually the other way around.
That was more than the double telescoping Luke. That's surprising. Okay.
I know. I was also
I would not
surprised by
expect that. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
So
sorry.
Can I just say I'm really glad I didn't get your questions.
I know. Yeah.
Yours were killers.
Sorry.
Counterintuitive. It's like,
Sorry, Gus. I had to try and stub you somehow. I know. I couldn't believe it either. For those that are listening, the double telescoping lightsaber is the lightsaber that extends and then extends again. Like, I would dream of having one of those, but I presume because it was used that it just, didn't work out.
Yeah.
But well done. Great job there in round 3, gentlemen. What we're going to do now is something really exciting. As I mentioned at the start of the episode, we have one free copy of Ultimate Star Wars, a fantastic book by DK Publishing to give away. This is kind of like the culmination of every visual guide that's been out before, but all canon. So the canon crazy people know that everything in there is actually lining up with the overall arching story group story of Star Wars. It's by Tricia Barr, Adam Bray, Ryder Wyndham, and Dan Wallace. And I do want to take this moment to thank the authors who have been really encouraging in promoting our giveaway. But it's now very exciting to announce our winner of Ultimate Star Wars. It is Twitter user at Kanga_22. So well done to at Kanga20. I presume that's not your real name. I hope so, because 22 is an awful last name. But you have won your copy of Ultimate Star Wars, so be sure to get in touch with us so that we can send that to you. Now, gentlemen, you guys have done a fantastic job so far. We're about to hit at round 4, but I just have to ask, you guys were both at Celebration. Gus, what were you getting up to at Celebration Anaheim a couple of months ago?
Yeah, I mean, I was running the collecting track for Star Wars Celebration, which I've done for every Star Wars Celebration since the first one in 1999. And so that involves a few things. We had, of course, panels and speakers on various topics. We had giveaways during the panels, a social area where you could meet other collectors. We had an auction of Vader cases that people took the old Kenner Darth Vader storage cases and had artists and collectors paint them up for auction.
Yeah, I saw those. For
charity, for Make-A-Wish Foundation. We had a newsletter going on. So we had a bunch of things kind of going on centered around collectibles. And so I was running the program for that. And in addition to that, we were also announcing our latest book and had at a booth on the exhibitor floor selling our books. So yeah, it was a pretty busy celebration for me.
Yeah. Now, I'm glad you brought up your book because I wanted to ask you about it, because you and Duncan have done a few books together, but this one is a guide to Star Wars micro collection toys. Would you mind explaining a little bit more about what that's about?
Yeah, basically, the Star Wars Micro Collection was this series that came out basically by Kenner, and it was released in the United States, Australia, and Canada. and it was short-lived because the action figures were so powerful in terms of their sales that they ended up cannibalizing sales of the 12-inch figures and the micro collections. The micro collection were these small, unposable metal figures in playset, interlocking playsets, and so the series came out for a couple years in the early 80s, and they had sets from Bespin, Hoth, and the Death Star, and it didn't take off, and so they closed the line down really quickly. Well, the thing is, it turns out collectors are really into this today. So the collectors love the micro collection, particularly prototypes from the micro collection. So Duncan and I just decided we wanted to do a book covering the micro collection, and we had a lot of unique micro collection stuff in our collection. So we thought we could, present a lot of unique content on this, and that's the book we released. At Celebration. It was called Gus and Duncan's Guide to Star Wars Micro Collection Toys.
Fantastic. That's really cool. I'll have to because for me, I only ever had the ones from the 90s. The little
the
micro machine ones. But that's really cool. I didn't even know that they came out in Australia. That's amazing.
They did. Yeah.
I really encourage everyone check out that book, and also check out the Star Wars Collectors Archive as well. SWCA.com, is that correct, Gus?
It's the SWCA.com. So THESWCA.com. If you go to SWCA, I think SWCA.com is like Smith & Wesson Collectors Association. So if you'll get a bunch of guns if you go to that.
So you can either buy a book about micro collection toys, or if you don't want to support Gus, you can go buy a firearm and protect our streets. But yeah, do check that out. But also on his website, there are so many other things. I've been on there many times to check up on my vintage collecting. So please do that. Now, Mark, I have to ask you as well at Celebration. So you and the Jedi News team were there, of course, and I was watching the live stream as a Star Wars fan in Australia. It was the amazing thing. So thank you, Verizon, for that. But I was watching the live stream, and no joke, I saw you.
Yeah. I managed to inveigle my way into getting onto worldwide television somehow. I just made sure that I'd got my Jedi News shirt on, because one of our guys on the team, Mark, got us these really cool shirts. So I just made sure every now and again that the logo was facing towards the camera. So yeah, I had friends tell me I was dancing with somebody from Lucasfilm, and somebody saw me having a dance. So yeah.
It's fantastic.
No shame.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, like, what were you guys up to at Celebration? Obviously, there was a lot to report on. How did you make sure that you got everything? Because I watched all the hours of live stream, and I still feel like I missed out on some stuff.
Oh, I'm sure Gus would agree. Even though you're there for 4 days and they're long days and you're working hard, you could spend weeks there and still not see everything. And I think a large portion of it is bumping into folks and seeing people and catching up. But this time, because there was sort of 60,000 people there, people that you would normally stop and have a chat for 5 minutes, you were passing them in the corridors, sort of high-fiving them. So it was go. But it was busy for us. I mean, we, as Jedi News, we are part of a larger group called Force United. So there was a bunch of groups, sites rather, and podcasts on a table, sharing a table. So we were involved with that. Me and James did the 1138 live. I was on Star Wars Bookworms as well, which was a lot of fun. I'm Rock the Insider, and so does James, so we were on the Insider panel. So we were doing stuff here, there and everywhere. James did his Lego tour. So we were all over the place all weekend. It was full on. I've got to say, the most tired I've ever been at an event, and Gus, remember this, New York Toy Fair this year, because we went out for a pizza, a bunch of us. Yeah. I was like a zombie. I was just like a zombie. I was approaching that level of tiredness at Celebration, but that slayed me. But yeah, it's been a busy year. I can only see it getting busier. It's just going to be Halloween at Rancho Obi-Wan coming up in October, and that's going to be crazy. So
fantastic. Gus, will you be heading up to Rancho Obi-Wan for that one as well?
I will be there, yes. So looking forward to the gala.
Cool. Well, we're nearly at the end of the show. It's time for round 4.
It's a trap!
In round 4, It's a Trap, our final round, you will each be awarded 1 point for a correct answer and have 1 point removed for the wrong answer. Do you have your buzzers ready?
Yep.
Fantastic.
Solo.
All right. All right, we're ready to go. All right, so here we go. 1 point for a correct answer, 1 point off for the wrong answer. Let's play It's a Trap. Question number 1. How many books did Bantam Spectra release in their Tales series of Star Wars books?
Solo.
Mark.
Was it 4?
Incorrect. Gus.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
That's
At
okay.
this point, do I lose points if I get it wrong?
No. Oh,
Okay.
you do lose points if you get it wrong,
Okay,
but that's okay.
I won't
now,
do it then.
That's right. Now, Mark, I will help you redeem yourself. You can get an extra point, and you two, Gus, whoever buzzes in, if you can name any of those Tales books.
Solo. Tales from Jabba's Palace, Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina, Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and there was a Tales of the New Republic as well. But maybe that was just a UK release.
No, that is absolutely correct. The other one I think that you didn't get was Tales of the Empire, but well done there. That's awesome. All right, let's move on with our next question. Here we go. Question number 2. In Star Wars Rebels, now, by the way, have you guys been checking out Star Wars Rebels at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, seen bits of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun. What is the name of Ezra's friend and spy at the Lothal Imperial Academy? For question number 2, what is the name of his friend and spy at the Lothal Imperial Academy?
Oh.
I can hear you both scratching your heads.
Solo.
Mark.
Is it Zare?
Well done. That is correct. It is Zare Leonis. That is the correct answer. All right, moving on for question number 3. Ewan McGregor is related to which other Star Wars actor?
Solo.
Gus.
Dennis Lawson, who plays Wedge.
Well done. Correct. Well done. All right, next question. Question number 4. The working title of Return of the Jedi, Blue Harvest, was a reference to which 1922 novel? So the working title of Return of the Jedi, Blue Harvest, something that we all know, was a reference to which novel from 1922? I'm going to give you an extra clue. That same title was later used in a Star Wars book by Joe Schreiber. That's right. Does anyone want to risk? Oh, yep. Mark.
Red Harvest?
Well done. That is correct.
Yes.
Lucky guess. Moving on to question number 5. Finish this quote. I sense an unusual amount of fear. I'll give you a clue. It is from the Phantom Menace. So finish this quote.
Yeah.
I sense an unusual amount of fear for... Any ideas?
I know who says it. I can't think the rest of the quote.
Yes, Gus.
For a trade dispute.
Well done. Well done. I'm going to give you the point. It was from Qui-Gon Jinn. So it's an unusual amount of fear for something as trivial as this trade dispute. Question number 6. Which 2 characters did Sam Witwer portray in Star Wars The Force Unleashed?
Solo.
Mark.
Starkiller and the Emperor?
Correct. 2 points. Well done. Question number 7. What fan favourite Star Wars author unfortunately passed away on February 27th, 2014?
Solo.
Mark.
Aaron Alston?
Correct. Now, getting to the end of it, question number 8. Hera Syndulla from Rebels is the daughter of which Clone Wars rebel leader? Mark.
Cham Syndulla.
Well done. And by the way, if anyone hasn't checked out that new book, Lords of the Sith, make sure you do. Question number 9. Jodo Cast was a lookalike of which bounty hunter? Mark. Man, Mark, you're spitting these out.
Sorry, mate. Boba Fett.
You're doing an awesome job. What's the answer, Mark?
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Well done. Now, our final question for this episode of Who Shot First, the final round. Final question. In Return of the Jedi, how many Bothans does Mon Mothma say died to bring them the information? Mark.
Is many a number?
Well, it's not really a number, but it is the correct answer. So well done.
I always thought it was many.
You were looking for a number.
Like a character.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, it was just kind of... You guys got to make the last one a trick question, I think. Now, at the end of our final round, we do have our final scores. We have Gus for Team Greedo with 15 points. And our winner for Team Solo on our very first episode of Who Shot First with 23 points is Mark Newbold. Congratulations, Mark.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
You are this month's Jedi Master. Now, Gus and Mark, I want to thank you so much for appearing and competing on the show. You've both been fantastic guests.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely loved it. Great fun.
Please make sure you stay up to date with our guests. You can follow Gus on Twitter at ToysRGus or check out theswca.com, not to be confused with the Smith & Wesson Collector's Archive. And also, make sure you pick up a copy of his latest book, Gus and Duncan's Guide to Star Wars Micro Collection Toys. As for Mark, make sure you follow him on Twitter at Jedi News 2010 and stay up to date, especially with all the new stuff coming out this year, JediNews.com. Also, make sure you subscribe to Rebel Force Radio's Radio 1138. But also, we'd love to hear from you as well and find out how you scored on this month's episode of Who Shot First. Did you get all the questions right? Did you at least get one of them right? Make sure you send us a tweet at Who Shot First. That's first as in first place. Or you can check us out and like us on Facebook, or visit for more episodes at dylanhesp.com/Who Shot First. Thanks again to all those who supported the show, our fabulous authors behind our Ultimate Star Wars giveaway, all our Twitter followers, and all our upcoming guests. I'll tell you what, we have some crackers coming up. And a special thanks to Travis English, the designer behind some of our fantastic artwork that you can see on our website. And some of it you can even buy to have up in your house as well. Now please make sure you subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud, as we have some amazing guests coming up on the next few months' shows. I'm really excited. And if you enjoyed the show and the format, please leave us a pleasant, or you know what, even delightful iTunes review, and like and share with your friends. Just a reminder, all those links and everything that you need can be found in our show notes. And thank you so much for listening. My name is Dylan Hesp. It's been a pleasure. May the Force be with you.
I have to shoot first! Han Solo, baby! Woo!